Hey guys, it's Lloyd and Darlington from DripDropz. Welcome guys, this is a report proof of achievement for Milestone 2 for the open source voting for DripDropz team, and we are together today. It's Darlington and I from DripDropz. We're going to go over the progress that we've made so far on the open source voting tool, and we're going to talk a little bit about the features up to this moment and how the documentation can be accessed as well. Our Milestone 2 is about our documentation, so we want to show that and show how it's used, but also give you guys an update on all the features that are in place now and what our next steps are. So Darlington, take it away, bud.
Sounds great. And as this is an open source project, this is all being built in open. You can access it at the GitHub here. See the link in the write up. The big focus for this open source tool is that anybody can use it with very little dev or engineering or system operation experience. So we're putting a lot of time into the documentation and then a lot of time into standards that makes it really easy to run this on any machine that has Docker support and Docker installed. The README is your first landing page. Some of what the goals are, the rationale, and then if you're trying to run this, some really helpful make command shortcuts. And here are basically the very quick 6 steps to go from getting a copy of the code to running an application that you can start creating ballots. More detailed docs will live in this doc folder. You can already see the specific schema. More schemas are coming here. And then more things to know about the user, the admin interface itself, and just how the whole system works. So we will just walk through these and give you an update for where we are and where things stand. Step 1, clone the repo. Once you have a repo, you want to go ahead and copy the environment variables. We've done a lot of work to put in some really sane defaults. So that again, if you're just coming to this and you just want open source voting, you're not really a Laravel or PHP or Node.js or TypeScript wizard, right? Or Docker. We want you to be able to easily get this thing up and running. So we have a lot of defaults that if you are not sure what to change, you may not have to change anything, which is pretty nice. I'm just going to open up the file in here. So this is the file that gets created. If you need to customize anything, if you need to change anything, if you understand what any of these things mean, this is where you can change them. But once you got your file going, next step is to run a command that will install all of the dependencies, front end, back end, and then sort of dependencies you need will get handled by running this command. And again, the only thing you have to have installed on your machine itself is Docker. And then it uses Docker to install all the other things. It's installing all the server stuff. Now it's going to install all the user interface stuff. And then it's going to spin up all the servers that we need. Wait a little bit to make sure the servers are healthy. There it goes, installing all the TypeScript and Node.js and all the user interface stuff.
It's very cool how far this has come with for a person who really doesn't have a lot. I'd say a junior tech, low-level admin should be able to deploy this pretty easily and get to a web-based interface that they can work from.
100%. Yeah, nice thing with this command, if you ever run into any issues, it's perfectly fine to just run them again. As you just saw, it will, if it doesn't need to reinstall anything, it will skip that part and it will just focus on the part that it needs to focus on to get you to a healthy running application. Shit. Oh, there you go. That's all good. And then with that init command, the very first time you run it, it's going to set you up for development. So that means it will run all the database migrations, and it's going to go ahead and generate your roles, your permission, and the default admin user. Once you have that, you can then open up your browser. Well, actually, you want to start the server. So make watch is the command. And again, all these commands are documented in the README. And if you are a coder, you can open up the make file to see the exact command that's being ran.
And importantly, of course, all this is documented right there in the site as well. So as you can see, Darlington's following through. He's literally copying and pasting from the GitHub. I've put the repository up on the screen a couple of times for folks. It's at github.com/DripDropz/on-chain-voting, just like you see on the screen here. So feel free to drop by and take a look at that. Repo at any time. We are developing in the open with this, and happy to get feedback and suggestions as we're developing.
So some of the stuff we're demoing today is still on the feature branch, this UI. As you can see, the last update to this was 10 minutes ago. So I just had to switch the branch here to use that feature. But once this is feature complete, all the functionality will live on the main branch.
Worse.
Once this go live.
Well, as we all know, this is a work in progress, so it's cool to see that the literally 10-minute-old features that have been added at this point.
Right. And then if you are familiar with the server stuff, there is this make shell command that will get you directly into the server. Okay, so once we have all of that, so we run make watch. Let's go back here to the documentation we're building. You are free to start browsing. I'm going to go ahead and log in. The password is in the environment variable that you copy, the default password. So in the production environment, these will be some of the settings that you would change. And there'll be more documentation about that too before we go live.
Excellent.
So once you log in, you get a panel, looks like this. It's pretty basic right now. You can create a ballot. So I'm going to say CCV5. Let's get some Lorium text in case you want to have a little write-up. Like a start date. Let's say this.
This is not the target UTV5, by the way, folks.
This is just for demo purposes. I can't think of anything else because I've got circle on my mind. Are we already in May? Yes, we are.
We are.
Version. Go ahead and publish this. We're gonna do a snapshot type ballot. A start date, the end date, version and publish. Cool. So we've got some validation in here. Obviously, as people start using this, and they have more feedback, you can put them directly on the open source project. Well, I don't have that open anymore. As comments, but right now one of the rules is this is meant to be a short text. There is an option to add a link to a full article, but as people start using this stuff and they need to change it, we're happy for any feedback. So right now this will let you put in more than 400 characters, 400 words. So we're just going to trim this a little bit, see if it likes that, and it likes that. The ballot is created. Once you have a ballot, you can go ahead and add questions to your ballot. It's kind of heavy. And hey, look for that. Okay, we will support different types of questions. This demo features the single type, but you'll be able to do multiple choice questions of what the user can select more than one option, and then rank choice when the user can sort their options. And then again, even with the question too, you can add a supplementary resource in case there's more explanation somewhere, more reading. And then once you have a question, you can then add choices to your question. So depending on what type of question you create, the type of choices you can add will be different. Again, this is just for demo purposes.
Absolutely.
All right. This is what I've been testing with, so that's just what's in my head.
No, that's perfect. There you go.
So once you have all this set up, basically the public will be able to see what you have. This is what that looks like. When you spin this up, you get this basic UI. Then that's some text here. Or then have some list of open ballots. If you have one on one ballot, it will show up here. Let's just quickly go in and create another ballot. Another ballot. About stuff. Ballots about stuff. Maybe we'll call it a feature. Everyone can take this. We're going to go ahead and publish that also. Question here. Question 1. There's just one framework Epic published, create, if we go, they would do a protocol, and if we go, and then the choice sets. It's gonna choice on here, choice one, choice one, description, with a line, that's good. Yes. We see now you have two. So by default, this will show up to 4 ballots on the home page. And then, of course, people can click to these. Click them here. You can see information about the ballot. You can see the choices. We're going to add live metrics here and all that stuff. So this is where we are now with the development, and all of this UI is also being built because, why not? It's 2023 and nothing says 2023 more than having support for light modes and dark modes.
Yeah,
we're going to put this into the UI, but as you can see, we're going to have support for both light modes and dark modes. And that,
I don't know why anybody uses light mode anymore.
I know, right? Any this will be more dynamic, and the user will be able to choose and will remember your choice. But this is what this looks like in light mode. So
very cool.
This is open source. It's being documented here on the GitHub. This is while the development is happening in real time. Every other day or so, there's commits to this repo. So if you have any feedback, if you see anything you will like to work specifically different, reach out.
Absolutely.
That's what we're at so far. Next steps. Next step is we're going to complete this entire process, add wallet integration, the ability to support, the ability to do CIP30, message signing for voting, and then also the ability to register using a token, and then to be able to cast and vote on chain, also using a token, so that anybody can. Basically, the same way the circle vote worked. If you were part of that, we're working towards that.
Excellent.
So metrics here, and then casting your vote on chain. That's coming up next, hopefully in a week or two.
Awesome. And that's going to get us through milestone 3, right? That's an end-to-end. You'll be able to vote, and we'll load it up on a test net somewhere, and you should be able to end-to-end vote through a test vote, and that'll actually conclude milestone 3. And then we'll go through a phase where we're just validating everything, making any last minute changes, and that will close out the open source voting project from DripDropz. So, Darlington, thank you for taking the time with me today to go over all the great progress that we have in the open source voting. I really appreciate the help there, and thank you to the Cardano community for paying attention to our development as we're going forward here, and for trusting us with Catalyst funds. We appreciate the support, and thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.